And another federal overhaul might be needed, maybe even a bailout. A panel of educators are calling for changes to the federal Pell Grant program because not enough of the recipients are ending up with diplomas. In fact, the federal government is spending more than $34 billion on the program, where only a quarter of the graduates of the folks graduate in 6 years. With more on this, Steve Goodman, founder and president of TopColleges.com, and Ron Meyer, a conservative activist. I want to show that full screen before we get started again, because this just blew me away. So a Pell Grant is a grant. The government gives you as much as $5,500 a year to go to school, and yet 25% of those people don't graduate. They don't graduate in 4 years. They don't graduate in 6 years. This, to me, seems crazy. Steve Goodman, what's wrong with this program?
Well, what's wrong with the program is that we're encouraging people to go to college, but we're not necessarily encouraging people to study specific things in colleges. So we've got all these people who are going to college, but not necessarily with any particular direction.
Well, Ron, you have views on this as well, and you're certainly closer to the age group that would actually be in school. Why are we throwing all this money around with no results?
Well, I mean, what we're doing and what this College Board report says that we should do, their proposal, really, it's just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic because it refuses to address the underlying problem, which is tuition costs skyrocketing. In the last 4 years, tuition has risen 25%. If you look at any other industry, no one else has raised their prices 25%, increased salaries to their administrators and professors by 10%, and gotten away with it. Right now, we're gouging students and leaving them with debt and then an unspecific education. And colleges and President Obama and the government are saying, you know, you should go get this education in some general studies field.
That's
and then when people graduate,
Ron,
they can't find jobs.
Steve, you know, the president's basically said that anybody who wants to get money for college should, but this seems to show that that just doesn't work. Look, our spending on this program has gone up dramatically. The dollar value of grants has tripled in the last 10 years, tripled. And what are we getting for it? Kids aren't even getting degrees. What is this program? Is it advanced babysitting until the economy improves? I just don't understand why we're throwing money after this program when it has such bad results.
Well, I think there are a couple things going on here. One, I think we do as a society want to encourage people to get education. I think that's terrific. The question is what they're studying.
Price, Steve? I mean,
that's
really.
right, and that's where I was going to agree with Ron, because Ron was talking about the last few years. Let's go back even farther than that. If you go back to 1980 and you compare tuition from 1980 to now, and let's say you look at a gallon of milk at that point. If a gallon of milk had risen at the same rate as tuition, we'd now be paying $15 for a gallon of milk.
$15 a gallon.
Yes.
Wow, that's sobering. Yeah, tuition increases have been dramatic. They only go up. How do we get control over it, though, Ron?
Well, the funny thing is, so we used to be able to say you could make $1 million more in your lifetime by going to college. Now that number has actually fallen to $300,000. So not only are we paying, you know, astronomically more for the education, you're getting less for it. And the only way we can fix it is by actually, I think, we have to look at trying to get the loans back to the private sector and have to have some sort of accountability on these colleges. Let me tell you this. I don't think anybody's going to give a loan to a student to go to a college where they aren't going to get any specific skill. And so really it's a two-pronged problem. One is this loan system making this huge loan bubble, and the other side is higher education being accountable to no one.
That's
they just keep getting
right.
more and more money.
That's absolutely right. Steve, you know, we see that, you know, professors are making more money. Those numbers are going up. Tuition prices are going up. Now, students protesting this week over student loan interest rates, which are set to double July 1st. Should they?
Well, look, I think that government should step in to prevent this. But I think the bigger issue is that we're all having these interesting discussions about somebody else spending the money. The universities themselves have the money. There are 350 colleges and universities in the United States right now that have over $100 million in their endowments. Why aren't we asking them to chip in some money to help some students to afford the tuition?
100 million? 100 million or 100 billion?
There are 350 colleges that have over $100 million in the bank, essentially. And why aren't they using the money to help finance some of the kids who really need the help?
Well, I think that's a great question. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's funny. There's two people making profit off of this system. One, the colleges, and two, the not-for-profit colleges, by the way, supposedly not-for-profit, and the government. The government is getting a ton of revenue out of these loans, and I can't understand what's more immoral than the government and colleges making a ton of money while students suffer. We're in a great youth depression right now. Only 3 in 10, 30% of young professionals under 30 have jobs. 3 out of 10 have full-time jobs.
Wow.
Some others have part-time work, so at best you're getting retail jobs, but most of my generation is either unemployed or at best underemployed. And I have tons of friends. I've talked to, like, this week, I've tried to make an effort of calling some of my friends in college, and I've ran into way too many who are unemployed and underemployed, including valedictorians, and
wow.
it's terribly sad.
Well, you know,
there's
go right ahead, Steve.
Yeah, there is something we can do about this. I think we can encourage colleges and universities to invest more resources in their own students, and particularly in very tangible skills that would lead to jobs, or at least job paths today.
Right.
I think it's great that we
that's a discussion for another day, and I truly appreciate it. And if you can find a way to do that, I encourage you to go right ahead, because I haven't seen those universities listening to anybody at all. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Hey, let's get Congress to talk about it, too.
Well, one other fact I just want to put out there, the government makes 36 cents on every dollar it lends in the student loan program. Unbelievable, guys. You were just great. Thanks for coming on tonight, Steve and Ron.
Thanks,
Jerry.